shit. Well, I said good morning because it's morning for me. It will not be morning for you guys, but sorry. I am actually really excited for this video. I have been collecting up neighborhood gossip, collecting it up, saving it. I've washed my hands like a million times and I can't get that lip liner off from yesterday, so I guess it's a testament. I don't know. Anyways, you guys, first of all, I'm not a nosy person. Everything I'm about to tell you is only because it's happened while I've been outside, or we know somebody who's like told us this information. This is not like me just like peeking out my window. I'm not that neighbor, I promise. Well, actually, there is a part of the story where I did look out the window, but only because it was a safety thing for me. I'll get there. But this is a neighborhood gossip video, and I live in a very small complex, or well, a very large complex where houses are like crammed together. So we all kind of know each other very well. I would like to think that any of my neighbors couldn't do one of these videos about me, but I don't know. Maybe they could. So, all's fair in love and war. So if my neighbors want to do one of these, do your thing. I'll accept it for sure. Anyways, the first story happened last week, like I think Wednesday or Thursday time. So where I'm gonna point is where these people live. Okay, so I know like it's gonna be flipped, but on this side, this wall right here faces their house, and it's a couple, and they're about our age. I think I want to say she's like 23 and he might be like 25. I actually don't know their ages. I don't even know one of their names. So like, not that I would use names, but that's because that's crazy. I will. Should I give the guy? Okay, we will assign them names. These are totally made up, by the way. I'm like totally bullshitting. The guy's name will be Steve. I don't know. And then the girl's name will be Rebecca. I could not have pulled those from our random basic white names. Anyways, so first of all, Steve has a lot of family in this complex, and by a lot I mean right beside them, their other neighbors are his cousins, and then like a couple of houses that way I think is like his mother, I think, and like some other family, and like there are like, I don't know, excuse me, I would venture to say 3 or 4 other houses other than theirs of his family that live in this area, like in this same complex with us. Not that that's important, but I just thought it would be interesting. So he has, in my humble opinion, he has an anger problem. So I don't know if I ever told this story. I don't think I did, but if I did, here's a little quick recap. Months and months and months and months ago, when he first started giving me red flags, this was months and months ago, he was in a car. They have like this, I don't even know if they have this car anymore, but it was kind of like one of the older, like 90s kind of cars, like style cars, or early 2000s, and there were 4 people in the car. It was, I think, did he drive? God, it's windy. I hate this house. I hate this house. That is purely just from the wind, and it sounds like that. It's that loud, whether the microphone is there or your ears hearing. It's ridiculous. It's so obnoxious, and it only is in this room. Anyways, so I think he drove, and then there was some girl I had never seen before in the passenger seat. His girlfriend was in the back, and then one of her friends, I believe, I actually truly think that the older woman in the car who was in the passenger seat was her mother, and the other girl might have been her sister. I think that's the relation, but I'm only making that up because they looked very similar. So I was outside when this happened, by the way. I wasn't like stalking them through the window. I was outside. I came back in to grab something, and when I went to go back outside, my boyfriend stopped me, and I was standing by we have a screen, like a glass door, and so I turned, and I was listening to him, and she and her friend had gone inside, and he had come back outside to grab like a bag of dog food or something, and the older woman was still outside with them, and he looks at the door, sees that his girlfriend's not out, walks up behind the older woman who is bent over in the car, like grabbing something from like the floorboard of the back seat, slapped the crap out of her ass, and like felt her up and all kinds of weird crap. They both started laughing. She like smacked him on the chest, and then he grabbed the dog food and went inside. So if I've never told that story, that's where he started to like suss me out a little bit, because I'm like, okay, clearly your relationship is either, because the vibe it gave me, and again, I don't know these people, but the vibe it gave me was that like he didn't want her to know, but he didn't actually care. So back to Wednesday or Thursday last week. So I was really sick, but I had woken up feeling a little bit better, and so I woke up to what was probably the loudest banging noise I have ever heard in my life, and it sounded like I call it a cop knock. I think that's what a lot of people call it, where like it's like they're like the cops are like banging on your door trying to get you open the door. They're like, oh, it's the police, open up, you know. It's not like that, like signature, like a closed fist knock. It was so loud it woke me out of my sleep because I thought it was at my door. That's how loud it was. And so I get out of bed, and the only reason I even had to look out the window was because I thought it was at my house that they were knocking. I was like, oh my god, I literally thought, oh my god, the police are here. My dog, one of the dogs is going nuts, because we both thought it was at our house. So I'm like, what the hell? I get out of bed, I look out the window to see, because where our house is, I could see the porch where they would be standing if you were knocking from my window. So I go out and I look out the window, but I peek out the window because then I hear screaming. And now keep in mind, I know exactly, it was before 7 o'clock, it was like 6:45 when this whole thing went down. He's banging. She had locked him out of the house. I guess they were like fighting already or something. I don't know. But then, this is the crazy part, right? He's banging on the door. She opens the door and he immediately starts screaming. I didn't hear the first part of what he's saying, but he's just like, ah, and it's so loud that you could hear it in my house. And he was, I mean, it's not like that far. We are very close, but it's like inside through walls at that hour is insane. So whatever, right? We go through the whole process, yada yada yada. Anyways, he goes, the only thing he says, there's another car there, and I am assuming they bought another vehicle. I don't know, or somebody's living with them because that car's there all the time. But another woman comes out, an older woman, and a woman who I'm assuming is her mother. So I think it was the same woman that he smacked her butt. Also, he was drunk the day he smacked that woman's ass, by the way. He was so drunk. He was like crazy intoxicated. Anyways, so I was like, okay. And she comes to the door and she literally screams, what the fuck do you want? And he's like, I need you to move your fucking car. Get your car out of my way. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're the fucking way. I gotta go to fucking work. I mean, he is belligerently screaming. And like every other word is the F word. and he's like, when I get home, very sweet, by the way. I don't know why she puts up with him, because she is so nice. I've talked to her several times and she's such a sweetheart. Anyways, she her mother throws her the keys to the car and she backs the car out. And she backs it out. We have one car length driveways, right? So they're like one car width, sorry. So it's not like you can park 2 cars wide in our kind of driveway. There are different kind of driveways in this complex, but ours, like the ones that we've got, they are 1 car width. So me and my boyfriend have to do that all the time. We have to pull the car out and then put the car, like, I'll pull my car out, he'll pull his car out, I'll put my car in first so that he can put his, because he leaves before I do to go to work, right? So I guess they just didn't do that, so that's what they were doing then, right? So he peels out of the driveway in reverse, like he's like gone, and he's in the street. So at this point now, both cars are in the street, and at this point, of course, it's not like busy. There's not like a lot of cars or anything, but he rolls. Yeah, I thought he was gonna just like peel out, you know, like he was pissed off. He peels out every time he's mad. Like you can tell he's mad when he peels out, but he puts the car in park and rolls the window down and starts screaming at her in the car. Put the fucking car back in that driveway. What the fuck is wrong with you? Whatever, like, you know, man rage, right? Crazy, just insane. Like, okay, I'm gonna say this, and it's not geared towards anybody. He is like 5'6", 5'5". He's very short and he's very small, and she is very pretty. He's not a terrible looking person, but he is very short, and I feel like he has that short man syndrome where they just like just walk around mad, like you know, like a chihuahua. They're just like pissed off all the time. If you were a short guy and you're not pissed off, don't be triggered. It's okay. But I'm just like, he was literally like pissed, and so she pulls the car in, but before she pulls the car in, he peels out. He comes back at like 3 o'clock screaming. At that point, it was just business as usual. Oh, Steve, just being Steve, you know, good old Steve. He's screaming. He leaves again, and we didn't see him for like 2 days. My boyfriend's like, you think he's gone? I was like, no. It's like, he's coming back for sure. He probably just stayed at one of their houses. But anyways, I thought that was insane craziness. So then, okay, I swear to God, this neighborhood's crazy, right? So I told you guys yesterday about the maintenance guy driving around back and forth, right? Being paid to be nosy as fuck. Anyways, so there is this guy that lives like a couple of houses. You can see his house from my house, but he's not like a neighbor, right? He's like, you know, a couple roads over, because like this is a very splintered. I live right by, like, literally, I don't know, 10 feet that way is one of the biggest intersections in this complex, and the road that connects to my road at this intersection is one of the busiest roads in here. So like, I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing. It just, because we're so close to it, we have a lot of neighbors. I mean, so there are neighbors that are not technically neighbors, but you can see them from my house. So I walk every day, right? And I walk for like 45 minutes. So I'm like outside for a substantial period of time. So this, and also like I do a lot of stuff outside too, like clean our cars and that kind of crap. So there's a neighbor backwards in the back who I wasn't sure actually lived there anymore, honestly, because they weren't around very much for like a substantial period of time. And so I was like, okay, I was convinced they were gone. I was like, they don't live there anymore. And but I never saw them like move out or anything. And the people that were there before them, because we saw them move in, they were relatively chill. Like, they weren't like loud or anything. And I don't care if you're loud. I want to preface that. I don't care if you're loud. I mind my business. I got headphones. I can play my music. I can go to sleep regardless. I'm never calling the police. I'm never any of that. Never noise complaints. Nothing. That's not my business. But unfortunately, that's not everybody's business. related. I don't remember the time frame this happened because I know this story because our neighbor on this side, his mother lives in there with him, and that woman knows all the tea. All the tea. She stopped me and told me this whole story. Crazy. Okay. I'm saying this because I do feel like this is a little bit racially motivated, and she thought, and I got that idea from her because she said the people that live beside them are racist, and the people whose house we're talking about right now they're a black family. Well, I don't know if they're actually a family. I know it's a black man that lives there, and it might be like him and his brother. I don't really know who actually lives there because he's always got people over. So I know there is one black man that lives there, and I'm not sure if I don't really normally see kids, and I've never really seen a plethora of, or like the same woman, not like they're multiple women, but like I think it's just him, and like he hangs out with his friends and stuff. But I could be wrong. It could be a family. I actually don't know. She just said there's a black man that lives there. That was all she told me. And the neighbors beside them, I'm assuming, are not black, is my assumption. Based off her saying it's racially motivated. That's my assumption there. So, he has this really, really, really nice smoker, and it faces our house, right? So like I can see his smoker like when I walk up my stairs. Really nice smoker. It's like a smoker grill combo thing. It's really nice. And he has his deck is huge. It's like the length of his house, and ours is like this big, and his is like huge. It's literally the length of his house. Crazy. So he has a smoker on him. Now, he did almost catch the deck on fire months ago, like when he like just moved in, but they thought that was so funny. Hilarious. It was actually really funny. Hold on. I had to clear my throat. But he has this like light, and I don't know how to describe it other than like it looks like studio lighting. Like if you were to film for like professional like photography, it's like a really big square light, and it gives off like a really intense light. It's almost like if you've ever seen people do, or like construction workers do, nighttime like road work on freeways. It's kind of like a baby version of one of those lights. Like it is really bright, but it's not like evasive. Like it's bright when you're outside, but like when you're in your house, it's not like it's like shining through the windows. Although to be fair, I don't have any windows facing that direction, so it doesn't bother me either way. But apparently the neighbor doesn't like the light, which is ironic because that neighbor's got one of the brightest fucking motion censored lights I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's on constantly, and it shines into our bathroom, my ensuite bathroom window, and it makes me want to sock that little fuck was what they were talking about. But the halftime show was early in the evening, and our quiet hours aren't till 10 p.m. So like it wouldn't have been that, and we were home when they won, when the Chiefs won. So like I don't know, they weren't loud, I didn't hear them. Whatever. Anyways, I don't know, maybe they had some kind of raging after party that I didn't hear. Who knows? But anyways, apparently they were too loud, and I think the person who lives beside them went and knocked on the door and threatened to call the police. I was like, you guys need to quiet down or I'm calling the cops. Which is insane, by the way. Calling the police over noise is ridiculous. But then, okay, so we got a mass email the week after the Super Bowl that said, we've been getting a lot of noise complaints, and just our quiet hours are 10 to 7, be respectful, blah blah, right? So then we find out, and I found this out from her, obviously, but it wasn't until like that email went out that somehow the guy who lives here found out that his neighbors went to the leasing office and like tattled on him, trying to get him in trouble. Can you believe that shit? That's crazy. First of all, what are they supposed to do other than issue a noise complaint? So they I don't think, because I think they waited too long to like issue the complaint, like to like tell them that there was a noise complaint, so they can't issue a complaint like 4 days later, you know, like what the fuck. So they went to him and said like, hey, we've had some noise complaints, we need you to quiet down in the evenings and whatever. And apparently, I mean, he's a very nice guy, so I'm sure he didn't like go crazy or anything, but he was just like, okay. And we haven't really seen him out and like with his friends and stuff, which I hate. Like, don't ruin people's fun, don't yuck people's yum. Like, I can't stand when people do that. But the other neighbors are also gone, and I want to know what happened, but she didn't know. She didn't know. So if I find out anything, I will let you know. But like, you guys, it was, first of all, who's noise complaining people on the Super Bowl? It's the Super Bowl. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Let them live. It's just not that serious. And apparently, what they were complaining about, the time didn't add up. And the guy has, I guess, cameras or something. And he said, I can show you on the camera that the time that we were supposed to be inside, we were inside. Like, he's like, by before quiet hours were, like, he's like, we were watching the game. So, like, they were like, I guess, like their version of like tailgating before the game. They were like grilling food and stuff before the game started, before kickoff, and all the performances before and all that stuff. So apparently that's what he was upset about, was that they were out. Well, that was like early in the day. That was like 4:30. Like, what? And so the guy's like, yeah, he's like, we watched the entire game inside. We were inside even for halftime. And so the girl's like, okay, well, that would have made it like 4:30 when you're outside. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, well, then it's not quiet hours, so like there's really nothing they could do. So I don't even think they issued the noise complaint, but like, I don't like nosy neighbors. I don't like nosy neighbors. And before we call her a nosy neighbor, she's not a nosy neighbor. She just knows everybody, and so she gets the tea, and we're besties, so she gives me the tea. But yeah, I think that's all the neighborhood gossip I've got. I'll keep collecting it up. I'll collect it up, and I'll let you guys have another episode of this. But it's people. There's so many of us in here. There's like over